Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. You're tuned in to the Sajdah, Wendy Muhammad YouTube channel, and tonight is our final episode of Ramadan Motivation for Conscious Entrepreneurs. So sit back, stay tuned, and we'll be right back after these short commercials. You're tuned in to the Mind of an Entrepreneur show with your host, myself, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. I am a multi-million-dollar business developer. I have developed business and real estate around the world, and I want to share with you my mental strategies, my technical strategies, and how I made it in the world of business. So I don't teach theory. I tell you about my life and introduce you to people who can also share with you what they've done to become successful. This is a practical show. This ain't a theory show. You don't want to miss it. So stay tuned.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
alaikum, family, and Ramadan Mubarak. How is everyone doing? Welcome to our final episode of Ramadan support for conscious entrepreneurs. Just a little support and motivation for those of us that are fasting. I hope you guys saw the commercial. Our Sajdah morning coffee talks is going to now be on 2 mornings. So I'm going to do Friday and Saturday morning at 6 a.m. So starting tomorrow morning, we'll have coffee talks at 6 a.m. on Friday. And then we'll have our usual one on Saturday. And let me tell you what I'm working on. We're going to do a 2-day series on healing. Okay. I'm going to talk about the importance of healing, but give you some tools and techniques on how to recognize what to focus on as you're moving through your healing process, right? Because a lot of us create affirmations and we're doing all this stuff and then we go, but it just seems like it's not working. Well, it's because there's usually some emotions tied to it that are pointing us towards something that we're going to talk about. So tomorrow morning, we're going to talk about fear, bitterness, resentment, discomfort, and anger. And we're going to talk about what those emotions are trying to tell you. Then we're going to talk on Saturday morning about disappointment, guilt, shame, regret, anxiety, and sadness. And we're going to talk about what those emotions are trying to tell us. So tune in tomorrow morning, Friday, 6 a.m., as well as Saturday morning, 6 a.m. We're ramping up to this everyday coffee talks, but 2 days for now. So hit the super chat button if you enjoy the channel. Don't forget to support Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. I'm adding another extra day for us, y'all, and it's still for free. So make sure you support, hit the super chat, give what you can, go to Sajdah Enterprises, and you got to get your commemorative Elijah coin. And if you saw that commercial, those coins are still available. That's the physical coin. Okay. And then one other thing I was going to tell y'all. Oh, the Bitcoin auction is underway. Okay. It started last Friday. It's still going. So jump out there. We put in Black history on the blockchain. So make some history and you can go out there and support. So welcome to those of you in the chat. Welcome, Mom. Soldier Tracy Soldier, Ramadan Kareem family. That's right, ma'am. Ramadan Kareem. Sandra D is in the house. She says, Assalamu alaikum, family. Ramadan Mubarak. Mo today, Thursday, almost Friday. That's right. Nubia Latifa is in here. I know a lot of people out getting them some food and drink, but I'm sacrificing for y'all. So hit that super chat button for your girl. I want to talk about just a little bit of motivation for us this last stretch. I get all of you all's texts and stuff about what Ramadan has been like now, owning a business and stuff. And, eating one meal a day and just fasting in general is amazing for mental clarity, right? You got to know when you fast, and when you start eating and living your life like that, that stuff is going to happen. You're going to start having clarity. You're going to start healing. It's a lot. It's like a regular soap opera that starts popping off when you start fasting and eating one meal a day. But a lot of times when you haven't done it before, or when you haven't done it in a while, or if during the process, sometimes we pick up, viruses, infections, little ways in which our organs and our bodies are out of balance. Sometimes we get out of balance through emotional things that happen to us. I know that happened to me. I'll give you an example. I had a huge project in building a micro hospital in Maryland, and it was a lot of stuff. It was a lot. We had a lot of attempts to disrupt the business, death threats, and just literally just figuring this thing out before, because it's not like I built clinics before and wellness centers and things like that, but never a hospital. So it was complicated and it was a lot of pressure. And so through that process, my body got out of whack. And I started to really retain water. I started to pick up a lot of weight. So I had to turn that process around. I had to go through some of these techniques we're going to talk about tomorrow and Saturday. Yeah, tomorrow and Saturday to figure out, okay, what am I working on? Because what I was really starting to deal with was just the challenges to my mindset and my intellect. And it helped me build a muscle that I'm really grateful for, because now doing this, one of the projects that I'm working on now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum, I have a muscle and I've been able to turn things around, and I started to see it in my cellular structure, in my body. But during the times when I was going through that, and I was going through Ramadan, or struggling to eat one meal a day, my body was trying to correct itself. And so that's when sometimes it gets really hard. So instead of sometimes the mental clarity that you normally get when your body begins to get itself together and clear itself, your brain now is focused on what's wrong, what's wrong in your body. And then now there's these conversations. I don't like how I look. I don't like how I feel. I got to get it together. And you're doing all this stuff, and it makes it tough. And let me tell you, there's a difference in doing Ramadan when you have a business and when you work a job. Because when I was doing consulting work and I was working for somebody else, right? I could kind of use my deceptive intelligence to just decide that this is about to be a lower energy, lower output month. Okay, it's Ramadan. All the extra grinding and all that stuff that I normally do. I'm just not doing it. And so you just make that decision, right? And so things that you don't want to think about, you don't have to think about. You're not required to. You don't want to be bothered. You don't have to really be bothered. You got to be bothered a little bit because it's not necessarily your business, but that extra pressure of the responsibility of having to negotiate, having to deal with employees, having to know, make big decisions. Sometimes you might have a court case. Sometimes you may have to in the middle of negotiating stuff, and the rest of the world around you is not on Ramadan. But when you're working a job, it's different. When you're in your own business, man, you still got to do those things and make stuff happen, even though you're hungry, you're thirsty. And so, it's nice to have a community like this where we can talk about, what we may be experiencing. And I just have to encourage us, you just got to keep going, because the mental clarity will come, the rewards will come. Make sure you're nursing your Holy Quran during that time. That's a big one for me, just constantly nursing. Pretty soon your body will self-correct, and you'll start to see yourself release water weight. You're going to feel better. Your clothes are going to start feeling better. So you're going to you'll get there. And you're also going to find that you're getting much closer to God and to that universal feeling of love. You're going to feel yourself growing closer if you just keep going. Just keep going. And I encourage each and every one of us that even after Ramadan, to keep the discipline and eat your one meal a day. Okay, that's going to be very, very critical, especially for those of us as entrepreneurs that are doing things that perhaps have never been done before, or at least that maybe we have never done before. So it's a way to play around with your outputs and your inputs by managing your food, watching what you produce and what you don't produce, and how you handle food spiritually and what food means to you. It's a way to even change your psyche about food, because a lot of us, we emotionally eat. And as entrepreneurs, a lot of times, when we got to make that big decision and something's going on, we may go to our office and grab a little bite of something. Might be something small, but if you keep doing that throughout the day or throughout the month or throughout the week, you're going to find that it's going to have adverse effects on your mental clarity and adverse effects on how your body functions, right? So the ideal thing is that you want to get yourself to that fasting state at least once a day. Okay. You want to get yourself to the point where your brain is starting to function off of the fat and not off of the glucose or the sugar that you put into your body. And then you'll find that it'll start getting easier and easier and easier. So you just got to hang in there. Hang in there, hang in there. And if you do have to make some major decisions during the month of Ramadan, and it's something that you can't delay until after the fast is over, just make sure that you make them in prayer. Make sure that you make those decisions in consultation with God. If y'all don't know anything about me, y'all know I'm all about love. I'm all about loving Allah, and I'm all about getting as close to Allah as we possibly can. And you probably have heard me tell the story about how one of the first instructions that have been the guiding principle of my life was being told to look for Allah everywhere. So I'm looking in the clouds, I'm looking in the trees, I'm looking at the birds. I'm just looking because he's everywhere. And in the energy and how my body is feeling. And so when we go through even these emotions Friday and Saturday, I want you to just see the blessing and the gift of Almighty God Allah in each and every one of those. And I get a little bit of criticism because people don't think that you can be a high achieving business person. When it comes to business, I'm like a scientist and an artist. And I also have technical skills. I will toot my own horn. But I give all credit to Allah, and I make sure that that spirit and that energy is incorporated in everything that I do. So whether it's decisions, whether it's the creative process, whether it's how I'm interacting with people, whether it's how I respond to an email, what I say, even if I got to set a person straight and get them together and tighten them up, that element of understanding the universe is there. And so the love part don't just mean all marshmallows and roses, although the marshmallows and roses are there. It also means sometimes straightening things out, getting the math right. What else was I going to tell you guys? Be patient with yourself and be patient with others during this Ramadan period, especially these last few days. I think when we wake up Tuesday, we should be celebrating Eid. We should be there. But be patient, because I know a lot of people fall off after the night of power. You know, the night of power is tomorrow. And I've seen people just go, all right, I'm done. No. You got to hang in there and make it to the finish line. Make sure that you get there. Keep striving. For me, as I start to really get close to just recognizing and emanating that universal love, just going through my body and feeling it, my sleep patterns get off. So today, I think I woke up like at 2 a.m. And so what I do then, of course, is pray. I may read a few verses of the Quran. I may just meditate. It just depends. I may go ahead and allow my mind to think about what it is that it wants to think about. I may allow myself to just receive the download that I feel like I'm getting from Allah. So you'll learn to work with your body and work with yourself. I have some days where I go, you know what? I got to lay back down. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but you just work with your body and just have fun experimenting with your body and experimenting with the new you, because every time we do this, you're going to find that you're going to become newer. You're going to become better. You're going to become stronger. Some Ramadans are harder than others. Last year, Ramadan was really hard for me. I was struggling with headaches and I was just having a hard time. This Ramadan, I've been so blessed that it's been so smooth and so effective in terms of sharpening my skills and reducing water weight and letting me know that I'm feeling much closer to Allah, really helping me to tune in and think and see things and playing that chess game. So it's different because your body's going through different things. So there's sometimes when you are fasting and your body is healing. And so sometimes that healing process is uncomfortable. Other times you're fasting and it's a smooth healing process. It's a smooth reconciliation. So you got to be patient. Okay. And when you find yourself becoming impatient, start turning to prayer. You got to pray this is one of these things, you got to pray your way through it. And you may be at work or you may be at the office. You may not have access to a prayer room. You got to just, and I used to have to do this when I was on client sites. I would just have to look, I'm going in this conference room. I'm going in this cubicle or whatever. I'm going to be 10 minutes late for this next meeting because I'm about to sit here and at least silently commune with my Lord. And so that becomes important. And I found that to be a very effective process just throughout my day, where I'm constantly having conversations with Allah, just constantly just talking, not about just the good stuff, like not about just bad stuff or begging, but just that very, very intimate relationship where we're connected, we're tethered together, we're talking to each other. And I'm saying, okay, why did you show up like this? And what is it that you want me to do? What do you want me to do next? And just constantly seeking that guidance and nursing the Quran and taking it and opening it and letting it open randomly and reading what comes up on the page, using those things as your tools and your guides. And we'll go through some emotions tomorrow and Saturday, because remember, we got coffee talks for 2 days, Friday 6 a.m., Saturday 6 a.m. So we're going to start doing Friday and Saturday, and we're just going to go through these different emotions, and we're going to just have a very candid conversation. It's not going to be really technical. It's just going to be talking about how to get us through this healing process. Because listen, family, if we don't focus on healing, we're going to be challenged with whatever rewards that we receive from our hard work. We have to focus on healing. And healing is going to allow us to understand unity better. Because in order for us to unite, we don't all have to like each other. We just have to find common principles and common goals that we can unite around. For example, we can all unite around police brutality. I don't have to like you to unite with you around police brutality. But what happens is we are dealing with all this trauma, all this blowback from everything that we've been through. Then all of a sudden we can't come together on a basic topic. And maybe because I don't like you, I throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't care about police brutality if it means I got to sit with you. That's the kind of immature stuff that these types of disciplines can help us to get over, because it's easier said than done. When you have trauma responses and you're constantly being triggered by past traumas and you don't know how to read your emotions. And so I'm going to teach us Friday and Saturday about how to use our emotions as compasses to understand where we are and what we need to focus on. We don't have to like each other to unite around the importance of education and properly educating our youth and making sure that not only are our youth global citizens, but so that they can thrive and win globally. We don't have to love each other. We don't have to look alike to unite around that. So this is the kinds of things that once we start healing from some of this trauma and going through our healing process, and you got to put in the work. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to put in the work. And most of us are dealing with trauma because of past relationships. So the thought of uniting with somebody who just might look like the person who you believe abused you can be a bigger task than what you are ready to deal with. But when you heal, it's just certain things you don't care about anymore. You just don't care, because as you're getting to know your body, as you're fasting, as you're praying, as you're in that creative process of building your business, and you're really wanting to work with Allah to make sure that you can get to that space that's way beyond your intellectual capacity and into that space of revelation where nobody knows what's going to happen, but you just know it's going to be beautiful. You forget about stuff that people did or stuff that people say. You don't even care about it. And so that's where we want to get. That's how we're going to be able to deploy the concept of unity, of pooling our resources. You'll be okay with sitting down at the table with somebody and pooling your resources with them as long as you all can unite around a common goal. You'll be less likely to do a whole lot of criticism, all this wanton criticism that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talks about. We let some of that go when you start realizing how hard the struggle really is. Because here's what happens. When you go through trauma, you're focusing a lot on yourself as an individual, because your desire is to survive. And so whenever you're in fight or flight survival mode, it's always me, individual. So we have a social media, we have a world out here that's constantly attacking us as individuals. Most of us have navigated through a world that has told us we're not good enough, we're not worthy, we're ugly, we're black, we're fat, we're tall, whatever. We got big feet, little hands, anything that is messing us up. So we're trying to survive, and we don't know how to read our emotions. So we don't know what fear means. We don't know what guilt means. We don't know what it's trying to say to us. And so we get into this survival mode. And so we're rugged individuals. It's me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. Now, as you're healing, there's some of that is valid, where you do have to go inside and take responsibility for yourself. But some of the extreme individualism that we practice, especially as Black people, as of late, we used to be a lot more communal as a people. And you know, the community can help to heal you. If you can find your right tribe, your right community. I'm not saying that you just got to get out here and open your doors to everybody, but you got to find your tribe. You got to find your people. And that kind of healing can really be helpful. I'll tell you something that a sister said to me on Saturday. Shout out to Sister Jennifer, whose designs are amazing. Went to her fashion show this weekend. I think it's Regen Ma. Ooh, don't quote me. But look on my social media pages. I tagged her. Make sure you go follow her. And there was a sister there. We kind of had like a little Vanguard reunion. There was a bunch of us there. We took a picture, and there was a sister there, Sister Danielle. And she said something to me that I didn't know that I needed. And I have not seen Danielle in probably 25 years, maybe. And we were in the mosque together in the 90s. We soldiered together in the Vanguard. And I was, obviously happy to see everybody. And so we're talking, and she said, "Oh, you're working on Sajdah House, right?" And I said, "Oh, yes, ma'am," And I can't remember what she said between that, or what I said, but she said this. She said, well, we said that if anybody could do it, you could do it. And I said, really? Because I never thought that they saw me that way. And she said, everybody's saying that. If anybody could do it, you could do it. And I looked at her and I said, I had no idea. She said, well, now you know. And I just looked at how God used her right at that moment. She gave me that message, and I literally have been thinking about it ever since. And it meant something that she shared that. And it gave me this boost as we're moving into this final stretch. And you all know I've been just pinching away at it so we can get to the point where I can make another move to get us done. And I'm almost there. And so when I think about just how long I've been strategizing on it and praying on it and fasting on it and working and dealing with a lot of forces, both inside of our community and outside of our community, and getting hit by different shocking things, and just it has really grown me up and matured me as a Muslim. And I'm so grateful for it. Her saying that she doesn't know a lot of what I have go through, and will likely continue to go through. But to say that meant so much to me, because it helped me to know that, yeah, I can do this. And it made me just feel proud. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that somebody that knew me and hadn't seen me in 25 years ago gave me such an amazing compliment like that. And so I'm just it just made me very grateful. And so I'm saying that to say that community can really help you, not so much from an ego standpoint, but it can help your soul. The love, the connection, the support, it can really help your soul. And so we want to work through some of this rugged individualism that a lot of us have. Some of us as women have been through so much trauma that we're like, look, I don't want nobody. Don't come over here talking to me. I'm just going to do it by myself. I don't blah, 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 blah. And there's times when Allah has to isolate you because he's working on you, and he's got something he's doing with you, and he doesn't want anybody around you in order to avoid interference. But there's other times when we go too deep into the rugged individualism, which oftentimes is really a trauma response. Okay. And fasting and healing and praying and having patience and tuning in to the vibration of the universe, and just sitting with God and not saying anything, just sitting with him out of love, and just we don't have to talk. I don't have to ask you for anything. You don't have to give me anything. Right here in this moment, just sitting here is enough. And you'd be surprised at how things will start to change and turn around. So hang in there, entrepreneurs. We are in a creative space. Sometimes when we hear that word entrepreneur, we think of it as a replacement for a job. Like you can either have a job, you can have an entrepreneur. Yeah, by this world standards, that is very, very much true. But doing for self is a spiritual command. And so it's a spiritual process. And so you can't go hardcore corporate and go, I'm cutting the spirit out of this. I'm cutting Allah out of it. I'm cutting that out of my life. You can't do that, because you're just going to end up looking stupid. Doing for self is a spiritual process, and doing for self is not always just about making money. As we begin to mature in our Islam, we have to do for self in terms of our creativity. What did we show up here to do? What is our main contribution to our community, to our nation? How is Allah going to show up and come through us? Some of us have creative endeavors. Some of us are music artists. Some of us have professional endeavors. Some of us are attorneys, and we start to develop a niche in defending certain types of cases. Some of us, do other things. And so Allah uses us in however he sees fit, but we have to learn to do for self in that way. Because otherwise you can't just keep walking around being a toy soldier or just being on the Ursha board. We have to develop, and we have to mature, and we have to find ways in which to expand our breast so that we contribute in a greater way. And one of my prayers has always been, help me to contribute more. Help me to contribute in a more fulfilling way. Help me to do something better, to be bigger, to be more influential in terms of helping people get to that next level in their lives. So these things are important. So doing for self means that. So you may be struggling, trying to figure out, how do I get this project off the ground that I'm not monetizing yet, but it's something in my spirit that I know I got to do. I know I got to get it off the ground. And so I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to volunteer at church. I'm trying to be on post. I'm trying to do all of these things. You just got to be patient with yourself. You got to allow that creativity to just flow through you. And oftentimes, over time, that thing that was once a hobby can be monetized, and then you're able to steal away. So be patient with yourself and take your time. Okay, you all, it is time. I am going to go, and I got a good salad waiting for me, and some good chai tea. So that's what I'm going to have this evening. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Sandra D said, yes, being thankful and grateful. I'm going to do this during the eclipse for more direction. Alhamdulillah. Yes. The eclipse is anytime the earth is moving is a beautiful time. Anytime the earth is moving, and it moves in a way where the earth, the sun, and the moon are lined up, you got to know that's something spiritual. You got to know that's some heavy stuff. So even if you're not putting on the glasses and looking at it, sit down and be quiet with the vibration and just feel it. I know we want to watch CNN. We want to see it. You can do that later, but look, just sit with it. Sit with it. I hope it's a little warmer for those of us up north, so we can just maybe sit outside, sit on your patio, on your deck, in your yard, and just feel the vibration of what's going on. What is it? What shift should I be making internally as the universe is lining up like this and doing this special thing on this special day? The day before the end of Ramadan. So you can't make this stuff up. So it's something highly spiritual afoot. And I encourage us. I was reading where they said the arc of the visibility of the eclipse is 9 miles, 9.190 miles. Did y'all hear me? The arc of the visibility of the eclipse, they said, is 9.190 miles. There's divinity all up in that number. So don't sleep on this. Sunday at night, just start preparing and putting yourself in that meditative, receptive, prayer-like state, that grateful state, just being grateful. Figure out what the energy of gratitude feels like in your body, and just put yourself in that state during, this very, very spiritual time. And if you're in Indianapolis, Indiana, you all get to see 100% of it. Some areas are going to see 60%, but you all are right on the mark at 100%. So make sure you do that. All right, family, peace and blessings. I'm going to go and have my good salad and my good chai tea. We will see you all, inshallah, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for our first ever Friday morning coffee talk. It's going to be Sajdah Coffee Talks, morning coffee talks. And so we're going to be on 6 a.m. tomorrow, 6 a.m. Saturday. Make sure you support the network. Sajdah Enterprises Cash App is going across. Hit that super chat button. I think it's down around the bottom if you're looking on YouTube. Give us some stars, some thumbs up, some of that kind of stuff. But we're not charging for this. I'm just pouring out what is coming through me, and I pray that to steal a phrase from my brother 19 Keys. I just pray it's a high level conversation that helps to awaken you and raise your awareness, because we all know that awareness is the mother of everything. All right, peace and blessings, family. Thank you all for the hearts and the stars. And don't forget to, if you are into the blockchain and Bitcoin, we have the Sajdah, the Elijah Coin 20 Bitcoin auction is going on right now. So go check it out. If you have a Bitcoin platform, if you don't really understand any of that, you can email me, sajdahhouse@gmail.com. But if you ain't into none of that, please go out and get your commemorative Elijah coin. I can't wait to make some announcements about what's going to be happening this summer. So may Allah bless each and every one of your Ramadans. May you be filled with love and gratitude. And may this time put you closer and closer and closer to your purpose, and closer and closer and closer to Almighty God, Allah. All right. See you all tomorrow morning. Assalamu alaikum.